After the bones, we start with the muscular system. We'll start with the skeletal muscles or the striated muscles. These muscles are under voluntary control. The skeletal muscles are categorized to indicate the movements of the body brought about by them. They could be flexors. The contraction of a flexor folds up a joint by drawing one of the articulating bones to the other. This causes a folding or flexion of the limb where the joint is located. The muscle could be an extensor muscle which works in opposite direction to the flexor. The contraction of an extensor extends a joint by pulling off the articulating bone apart from one another. This causes a stretching or extension of the thumb. Could be a pronator. The contraction of a pronator rotates the forearm to turn the palm downwards. Or it could be a supinator. A supinator contracts to rotate the forearm to make the palm face upwards. It could be an abductor, which contracts to draw a bone away from the body midline, or an adductor. It draws a bone towards the body midline. Antagonistic muscles. As we have just seen, most of the voluntary muscles occur in pair, and the muscles which contract to produce opposite movements at the same joint are called antagonistic muscles. We have just seen some of the antagonistic muscles like pronator, supinator, abductor and adductors. When a muscle contracts to produce a movement, its antagonist must relax to allow that movement to take place. The threshold stimulus. Skeletal muscle is composed of many muscle fibers. Each muscle fiber is supplied by a nerve that conducts propagated changes of electrical potential called nerve impulses to the muscle fiber. When nerve fiber reaches a nerve impulse of adequate strength to the muscle fiber is stimulated and responds by contracting or shortening. When the muscle fiber is not stimulated by any nerve impulse, it relaxes. Besides nerve impulses, the muscle fiber may be stimulated by adequate strengths of electrical, mechanical, chemical, or other forms of stimulus also. Single twitch and tetanus. A muscle fiber contracts only once if it is stimulated by a single nerve impulse or electric shock of adequate strength. This single isolated contraction of the muscle fiber is called the muscle twitch. Fatigue. On being repeatedly stimulated to contract, the muscle fiber takes progressively longer time to respond to the excitation, to develop tension during contraction, and also to complete relaxation. Their force of contraction also declines progressively. Ultimately, the fibers fail to contract at all for some time. Coming to the red and white muscle fibers. The mammalian and the avian are the birds, skeletal muscles contain two major types of striated muscle fiber. The slow or the red muscle fiber. These muscle fibers are thin, dark in color and slow in contraction. Their red color is due to presence of red heme protein called myoglobin. It binds and stores oxygen as oxymyoglobin in the red fibers. The oxymyoglobin releases oxygen for utilization during muscle contraction. The red muscle fibers are very rich in mitochondria. Both these factors allows them to carry out considerable aerobic oxidation. Because they produce energy mainly by aerobic metabolism, they carry out aerobic contractions without accumulating much lactic acid. Therefore, the red muscle fibers can go on contracting for prolonged duration without fatigue. The extensor muscles on the back of the human body are very rich in red muscle fiber. These muscles continue in sustained contraction for maintaining the erect posture against gravity. Some avian flight muscles are red muscles. Birds use these muscles for prolonged slow flying like the sailing of kites in the air. Coming to the white or the fast muscle fibers. These muscle fibers are thick, light in color, poor in mitochondria, free of myoglobin, and faster in contraction rates. They depend mainly on anaerobic glycolysis for energy production, so they carry out anaerobic contraction accumulate lactic acid in considerable amount during strenuous work and soon gets fatigued. They are specialized for very fast and strenuous work for a short interval. The muscles which perform fast and strenuous work for short interval are made mostly of white muscle fibers. The muscles for eyeball movements are very rich in white fibers. The avian flight muscles used in short, fast flying, like that of a sparrow, are white muscles. The striated or the voluntary skeletal muscle. Most of the striated muscles are attached to bones by tendons. They are called skeletal muscles. They are voluntary muscles. A voluntary muscle is composed of long bundles of striated muscle fiber. Each fiber is a long, unbranched cylindrical cell. These bundles are called myofibrils. Each myofibril contains regular alternate dark or the A band and a light or the I band. At the center of the I band is a fine, dense, dark band called the Z band or the Z line. The plasma membrane covering the fiber is called the sarcolemma. The cytoplasm inside the fiber is called sarcoplasm. Sarcoplasm contains myofibrils. Typical diagram of a skeletal muscle. You can see the Z line, the A band, I band. The distance between two Z lines is called sarcomere. On the left side of the screen, you can see a diagram which shows relationship between actin and myofilaments in relaxed state. Whereas on the right side of the screen, you can see a diagram showing relationship between the actin and myosin microfilaments in a contracted state. Contraction takes place when thin filaments pulled towards the center of A band, that is movement of thin filament towards center. Movement of actin filament takes place in the presence of ATP and calcium. That is, ATP and calcium are required for muscle contraction. If the body is devoid of calcium or ATP, the muscle contraction stops. The cross-striated appearance of a muscle is due to presence of dark or the A band in the light or the I band of myofibrils. Many mitochondria and glycogen granules remain scattered in the sarcoplasm between myofibrils, which produce energy for contraction of muscle by oxidation of glucose in the muscle fiber. Each myofibril consists of two types of protein filaments. The thick filaments are made up of protein called myosin. Myosin filaments are located inside the A band. The thin filaments are more numerous and composed of protein, which are called actin. In the center of the I band, there is a Z line or the Z band. H zone is the region in A band which contains thick filament only, while a I zone is the region where both thick and thin filaments are present. The distance between two Z lines is called a sarcomere. Sarcomere is the functional unit of contraction. Mechanism of muscle contraction. Each myofibril has dark A band and a light I band of actin and myosin filament. The sarcomere, which is the functional unit of contraction, consists of an A band in the middle with two halves of two I band on its two sides. From each Z line, the actin filament extends through the half of the I band. The sliding filament theory, proposed by Huxley and Hansen in 1954. The actin filament slides over the myosin filament to penetrate deeper into the A bands. This sliding occurs due to breakage and rearrangement of the cross linkages between actin and myosin filament. When the muscle fiber is stimulated, ATP is broken by ATPase enzyme by the myosin molecule. The cleavage of ATP provides energy for interaction between actin and myosin filaments. This causes a rearrangement of the cross linkage between the filaments. As a result, thin actin filament slides deeper into A band between the thick myosin filament. This is a typical diagram of the sliding filament theory. You can see in this step 1, ATP binds and releases the myosin head from actin. In this step 2, there is hydrolysis of ATP, and in this step 3, in the presence of calcium, binding of myosin head to actin filament takes place at a new position. In step 4, the myosin head locked into place on actin filament. The Z lines are drawn closer together by sliding actin filaments. This shortens the sarcomere. The muscle fiber shortens. On contraction, I band reduces considerably in length, but A band remains unchanged in length. Therefore, sarcomere shortens because of shortening of its I bands. During relaxation, the cross linkages between the filaments are rearranged again and the actin filament slides out from the A band. This elongates the I band, pushes Z line away from each other, results in lengthening of myofibril as well as the muscle fiber.